Okay, welcome back. We're now into lesson 10. We finally get into another tense besides the present. And okay, this is the imperfect. Although, just like the present tense, it's going to be formed off of the first principal part. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is learn these endings. Okay, just as we learned endings for the present tense, oase, omen, ete, usi. Okay, we also want to learn similar endings for the imperfect, on, sn, omenete, on. Okay, and we can see how this works here. We have these endings here which are now affixed to the form of luo, which makes it an imperfect. Notice there's also an augment here of an epsilon. That's another characteristic of the imperfect. So two things. One, the augment. Two, the new ending, which we'll call a secondary ending, which will be affixed to the stem, and that's how you form the imperfect. Okay, eluon, elus, eluen, eluamen, eluate, eluon. Notice the third person plural is exactly the same in form as the first person singular. Okay, so in other words, I was loosing or loosening is the same in form as they were loosening or loosing. Okay, so it's context that allows you to tell the difference. All right, that's fairly straightforward. You kind of have to get used to working with those imperfects. There are a fairly decent number of them in the New Testament. Oh, sorry about the movement there. Now notice with the formation of words that begin verbs that begin with vowels, the augment here takes place a little bit differently. Although we've seen this already though with principal parts, right? Where you have, for instance, ago, and I think I give you the principal parts for that. Akuo, I know I have. Notice that it's akuo, akuso, ekusa. Okay, in other words, to augment there, you don't, just have the epsilon, which you would if it began with a consonant. You basically elongate the vowel, okay, instead of augmenting it. Same thing here with the imperfect. Okay, so to form the imperfect from a verb that begins with a vowel, you just make an elongation. Okay, now echo, the word for have, is a little bit unusual. Instead of getting the eta there, we get the epsilon iota. Okay, that's how the elongation is handled there. Okay, don't ask me why that is. It's just the way that it is. Okay, so look for that. That's going to be a key way in which you're going to be able to distinguish the imperfect when you're reading. Okay, from the present. Okay, it's going to have this elongation of some kind. Okay, for a consonantal beginning verb, it'll just be an epsilon. For a vowel, it'll be an elongation, and then there'll be the secondary ending. Okay. All right. Keep in mind the same rules apply also with compound verbs. Okay, apokrino. Okay, to make that an imperfect, what do? Well, two things. We add the epsilon here, and then we go and add the imperfect ending, and then to combine it with the prefix, we get rid of the extra vowel there, okay, by elision, and that's what we're left with. Okay, so we get apekrinon. Okay, I hope that's clear. All right, so that's let's go back to what we had here. All right, okay, same thing. Okay, anabino, the word for going up, becomes anebinon. Okay, how do you get anabinon? Well, just from this is what we would have started with. So then okay, so basically it's considered bino of itself. You augment, okay, go to the secondary ending, okay, and then if you want to add it to a compound, you just elide the compound if it ends in a vowel, and you're good to go. Okay, so it's the same idea as how we've seen this before with the principal parts. Okay, although both of these are formed at the first principal part. Okay, so two functions we've seen for the first principal part so far: the present tense, okay, both in the active and in the middle passive form, and the imperfect active. Okay, and soon enough we'll see the imperfect middle or passive form, same thing off the present tense. Okay, all right. Now with that, let's go take a look at a couple other principal parts here, namely this one for find, heurisco. Okay, we've seen this verb already. Heurisco, hereso, heron, herika, heremai, herethane. Okay, heurisco, hereso, heron, herika, heremai, herethane. Okay, this fourth principal part is probably one of the most famous words in ancient Greek. It's the term that Archimedes exclaimed when he had discovered the principle of buoyancy. He ran out of the bathtub naked, down the street yelling, "Heureka! Heureka!" In other words, I have found, I have found. That's the thing that he said there. That's the Eureka moment. That's where the California state motto came from as well. The word bino. Okay, this is another very common word for go. We've learned two others. What were they? Remember, poieuomai, which was another word for go, and erchomai. Okay, bino is the third one. These are the three main verbs of motion. Okay, and since there's a lot of moving around, these are words you need to memorize. Okay, the principal parts are bino, besamai, eben, bebeka. They are irregular. They have to be memorized. There's no way around it. Okay. Then there's a funny anecdote here about John Henry Newman. You know, that annoyed the hell out of him that he had students who had all of this knowledge about purely theoretical things, but couldn't correctly identify the principal parts of bino. Okay, and there's actually an anecdote, and he tells in the idea of university about that. Okay, so keep in mind, precise knowledge is important too, not just purely theoretical knowledge, and that was one of his criticisms of learning in his day. Okay, and there's a couple other principal parts I give you. Go ahead and look at these in your own time. These are all supplemental words, so you can learn them as you will. That they do occur enough in the New Testament that they are worth at least looking at, if not memorizing, and you're good to go. Okay, so great. We'll stop there and have a good time with Lesson 10.